the face of boxing in Asia, Chris. Naoya Inoue stops Nery in 6 rounds, survived the scare in the first round, but it remains undisputed champion at 122. Now, when I saw the weigh-in, Chris, I was like, man, Nery actually has a size advantage. Nery's usually smaller than his opponents. Obviously, Inoue going up in weight. He conquered 118, won all the titles there, conquered 122, won all the titles there. But during the weigh-in, I was like, man, Nery looks a little bigger, you know. So for a guy who can pop 27 KOs, I believe, in 35 fights, you know, I figured this was going to be a dangerous fight for Inoue. I wouldn't have been surprised if he got hurt in this fight. He didn't seem too hurt from that knockdown. Kind of seemed a little surprised, got right up, and then dominated the rest of the fight. Still looked great. Knocked Nery knocked him down 3 times, I believe. To me, the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And man, as I said, the face of boxing over there in Asia, 55,000 people at the Tokyo Dome. People saying, oh, he needs to come to the U.S. Man, that's where the bag is over there. 55,000 people. That's crazy. Nobody here in the States does that unless your name is Canelo.
Yeah. You know, I was one of those people, you know, it was like Christmas to me. I was like, I got to wake up early, see this fight. I messed up, fell asleep. But as soon as I woke up 6:30 a.m., I went straight to my phone, looked at the socials. The first thing I saw was that knockdown, and I was like, many of us were shocked. I was like, what happened? Like, you know, rest of the fight. Obviously, you see what Inoue did. He wakes up, you know, he starts to break Nery down, and lo and behold, 6-round knockout. Again, it stays impressive, but a lot of respect to Nery. You know, even though we know that as Inoue goes up in weight, he's going to start to have trouble. He might start to get hurt, get caught here and there, and that's what happened with Nery. But again, that power, that discipline, that fundamentally sound style, man, is what makes him one of the very best right now. And man, the way that he folded Nery, I was like, again, it makes him a little, you know, a little human to get knocked down, but it also makes him, you know, you see what kind of monster comes out when he's hurt. And so again, impressive performance, like you said, Joe. It's 55,000 in that dome. I know he gets a lot of heat from people saying that, you know, he hasn't come to the States, but dude, he's attracting the very best from Mexico. He's attracting the very best from all parts of the world. And why would they fight him anywhere else where it's not going to sell, you know? So Japan is a place that you have to go to fight the monster. And again, he is the best right now.
Yeah, and look, he's now 22-0 in championship fights, 20 knockouts. So he became a champion. I think it was his 7th fight. 22 championship fights now, 20 knockouts. I mean, if that's not pound for pound for you, I don't know what is. I don't think there's any other active champion fighting title fight after title fight after title fight and pretty much knocking them all out. Impressive what he's doing. He brought out everybody over there in Japan. Obviously, the only thing that people can kind of say something bad about this is, oh, he got knocked down. You know, a lot of people are going to use that against him, but you kind of touched on it. But to me, that tells me, okay, how are you going to react when you get hit? You know, he reacted well against Finito Donaire. Had a busted eardrum, I think busted orbital bone or broken nose, I forget. It might have been all of the above, but you know, that fight told us, man, this guy's got heart. He has a chin, and he can withstand that type of pressure and that power. You know, in this case, he got knocked down, got up, dominated the rest of the fight. So I'd rather see that than guys taking easy fights and knocking everybody out. You know, I'd rather see them face a little bit of adversity. And like I said, to me, he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Power, speed, defense, IQ. You know, it seemed like he beat Nery with strictly IQ. You know, just like Canelo de Munguia. We'll get into that. But in this fight, you know, I think Nery knew what he was getting into. He said, I'm either knocking him out or I'm getting knocked out. You know, and Inoue said, no, it doesn't have to be that. I'm going to just outsmart this guy and hurt him, counter him. You know, be smart about it, and that's what he did, man, in front of his people. Impressive once again, and this guy, one thing you gotta say about him, he's active. Look, his biggest win probably that Fulton win. That was in July of 2023. He won all the belts by defeating Tapales in December of 2023. Now he fights Nery 6 months after that. Before that, obviously, you see the Paul Butler fight, Nonito. The ones that kind of stand out the most before that are the Maloney, Donaire, and Manuel Rodriguez fights. But this guy's been active, man. You got to give him credit for that. He's active. He's getting paid out there. He's looking good. Still scoring knockouts. Always exciting to see the monster.
And Gio, I gotta ask you, and I gotta ask you guys in the comments, man. What was your thought when you saw the monster get dropped?
Very, very surprised. I personally thought maybe he was gonna get hurt in this fight. I didn't think he was gonna go down though. First round, it was like whoa, and then obviously you ask yourself, is he really hurt? But he looked good when he went down, and it's kind of weird to say, but he went down. He stayed on his knee. Just look at the ref. Took his time. He remained calm, and that's probably his biggest asset, his biggest strength. He never panics, And then Nery tried to hop on him, but wasn't able to really hurt him after that. And then after that, it was a wash. So obviously surprising, but I feel like he took it very well and he passed that test.
Yeah, it seems like the weapon of choice of the last 3 weeks has been the left hook. Inoue gets dropped with the left hook. He drops Nery with the left hook. When I seen him go down, I guess the first initial thought is like, whoa, like how hurt is he? Obviously the first thoughts that come to mind is the hook that Devin Haney took from Ryan, and you've seen how Devin Haney, was on weak legs, struggling to get up. In a way, like you said, Joe took it better. Took his time to get up. He didn't look like he was on unsteady legs, and that's one of the things that fight fans see. That's the thing that they see. Like, how hurt is he? Is he on weak legs? Is he? If he is, like, oh my God, how is he going to survive? How do you, fend off, this guy that's coming at you like a bulldog? So again, I think it shows the how wise Inoue is. When it gets hot, when it gets into those scary moments, he was able to keep his legs under him, weather the storm, and like you said, take over. I think of Tyson Fury when he got knocked down, he got hurt, but he came back and started taking over that round against Deontay Wilder. So again, it's those little things that make these champions greats. So again, yeah, like we said, as he gets into these bigger divisions, he will get touched. How far up do you go? Being a little guy.
Yeah, and let's go to some comments here in the comment sections. A lot of comments on Hoya. Iceman says, it got levels. The monster came in a little too anxious, says Big Bro, trying to please the crowd. Rookie mistake. Nery was the bigger guy. He had power and was a little slick southpaw. It dominated after getting dropped. Even toyed with him for a little bit. Yeah, he was taunting him. A bit. But it was always a great fight, Mexico-Japan. So you knew this fight was not going to disappoint. We knew Nery was not going to disappoint. Just like Munguia, right, Chris? We'll get into that, but man, it's different. It's different. That Mexican heart, that Japanese heart is different. So we knew this was going to be a good fight. Big Bro says the real monster is the undeniable P4P number one. He has beaten 3 of the top 4 at 122. And look, he's outsized by these guys. He's on that Canelo stuff right now, fighting the bigger guys. Let's see. Inoue had that surprised look like he got an A- on his report card, says Adi. That's funny. He's cleaning out the division, says Big Bro. Clyde says, not a big deal. Mad Dog says, I'm surprised he didn't look hurt. Same with Iceman. So, pound for pound, Chris. I already gave my opinion. I think he's number one. Big Bro, I agree with Big Bro. I think it's undeniable. Obviously, ESPN will tell you otherwise, but give me your thoughts now. We kind of touched on it last week. You have that certain guy, that a lot of people just like to put up there by default. Not sure why. I don't know. People have just a hard time deciding that. They just say, hey, I'm going to give it to this guy here. I'm going to just go with the crowd and give it to this guy. But we also have a big heavyweight fight. So let's get into that debate. Who's the best? Who's the best in boxing at the moment?
After this performance, I And Gio, again, this is my opinion.
Now say it with your chest, Chris. Don't backtrack now. Say it with your chest.
And my pound for pound 1, 2, 3, I feel like it's like a horse race, man. It's always like what have you done in your last fight? So that's how I have it. Right now, I have like Terrence Crawford and Inoue tied for first, man. Like right there. But I'm gonna say this: the winner of that Tyson Fury Usyk, I can see, and depending on how they win, if it's very convincing, if it's dominating, if you knock the other guy out, whatever, that one could usurp this position until whoever what have you done for me lately? But right now, after that, yeah, Inoue has to be like up there in number one again. He got dropped, and it could have been a catastrophe. He could have been knocked out, but he weathered the storm and came back in impressive fashion and knocked out yet another world champion. So he's not just getting by guys, beating them or winning by split decision. No, he's knocking these guys out, and in 6 rounds. It's like not even going into the championship rounds. It's unheard of. So again, Terrence Crawford had an impressive last performance, but anyway, right now like makes a perfect case for that number one.
Just say what you want to say, Chris. We won't get mad at you. We'll just debate. But Chris has this guy as his number one. I'm still very, very confused, man. But to me, yeah, is number one, but I think that heavyweight bout, whoever is the winner, should be considered number one pound for pound. Now, Chris, let me get your take on this, because I hear a lot of, if Usyk wins, he's number one. But if Fury wins, I don't know. Do you share that opinion?
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. If Usyk wins, because he came from a smaller division, he cleaned out that division, and then he came up to a division that we saw him struggle that first fight. He did what he did to Joshua. If he does something similar to Fury, yeah, he should definitely get that number one. Tyson Fury has only been in one division, so his case is a little bit tougher, but you also got to give him some credit. If you're able to either outbox or soundly defeat a guy like Usyk, it's almost like you're taking a lot of those accomplishments that Usyk did. You got to give him credit in that stance, but probably not top one, but maybe top 5. I would give him some credit for beating a guy like Usyk by moving him in the top 5.
Even that confuses me. How does one guy win and doesn't become? I don't know, man. That's crazy.
How far do you win Tyson Fury if he wins?
I think he has to be number one.
Okay.
Do I think he's number one? I don't think so, but you got to be fair. You can't put one guy at number one and not the other one.